The Netherlands stands up to Pakistani Islamist clerics' threats. In a bold move highlighting the ongoing tensions between free speech and religious sensitivity, Dutch prosecutors have brought charges against two Pakistani religious leaders for allegedly inciting violence against Dutch politician Geert Wilders. The trial, held near Amsterdam's uh, Air- Schiphol, I don't know how to pronounce anything, airport on September 6th, accuses Mohammed Ashraf, Asif, Jalali, and Saad Hussein Rizvi for calling for Wilders' murder, with Jalali reportedly promising his followers would be quote unquote rewarded in the afterlife for killing the anti Islam lawmaker. Wilders, who has lived under police protection for nearly 2 decades due to his controversial stance on Islam, addressed the court saying, quote, "This case has had a huge impact on me and my family. I'm asking this court to send a strong signal that calling for a fatwa in this country is unacceptable." The case underscores the complex interplay between religious extremism, political rhetoric, and national security, with the Netherlands taking a firm stance against threats to free speech, even as Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Labaik party condemns the trial as Islamophobic. Naturally. Okay. So let me provide a little bit of background on this case. So, for those who are not aware, Geert Wilders, his led his party to electoral success recently. They won a major election, come into power, and he has a very long history of controversial statements about Islam, um, freedom of speech, uh, Muslim communities in the Netherlands, from different immigrant populations. He's a divisive figure, shall we say. And um he kind of one of the things that really caused him to have a lot of notoriety was, I believe off the top of my head, it happened in 2018. I mean, he's been kind of one of these figures for yet almost 20 years, since the early 2000s. And he's been in the Dutch parliament for decades. Um but he came into notoriety, I think it was in 2018, when he wanted to have an open contest for everyone draw Muhammad Day, an open contest for drawing cartoons of the prophet. And this caused mass threats from across the world towards the Netherlands, threats of terrorism. I believe there were riots in Pakistan when this happened, and then he ended up shutting down the contest, partially because of these riots. And low key, I'm like, why would you shut down? Because this is how it's written in English media. I'm like, why would you shut down the contest just because of some riots in Pakistan? If they wanna go burn down their own country over you drawing cartoons, like, let them. But anyways, I'm sure it was more complicated than that. Um, so, that was one major thing. He's been living under police protection for a very, very long time. And there are these 2 Pakistani clerics who have openly incited violence against him. Now, let me be clear. They are being held in trial in absentia. So what does that mean? That means that they are not present. That means that both of these leaders are actually in Pakistan. Like, they're not in the Netherlands. They do not have any agreement. The Netherlands does not have an agreement with the nation of Pakistan regarding extradition or trying people, etc. So, are they actually gonna be held accountable? Like, let's be honest, no. I mean, they're, like, halfway on the other side of the planet. Um, and one of the people who's accused of inciting violence against him, Saad Hussein Rizvi, is the son of none other than Kharam Hussein Rizvi, who is the founding leader of the TLP. The TLP, if you guys are not aware, is one of the most extreme Islamist groups in political parties in Pakistan that basically was born on the single issue of defending Pakistan's blasphemy law. For those who are not aware, under Pakistan's blasphemy law, you can be sentenced to death for blasphemy. Certain kinds of blasphemy, you get sentenced to death. Certain kinds of blasphemy, you only get life in prison. And no one has actually been executed under these laws, but they are still on the books and legitimized by the state. And his daddy, lest we forget that this man's daddy called for the entire nation of France to be nuked off the map because they allow Charlie Hebdo to continue to publish depictions of the Prophet. Because France allows this as a state, they allow it. Like sometimes I wonder if these people even realize that it is not the state doing it. It's just that the state allows it. They somehow thinks that it is like France as a national body, like doing it. I don't even know if they know the distinction sometimes. I don't think they do. Um, so anyways, his daddy wanted to nuke France, have Pakistan use the Pakistan's nukes to blow France off of the map because they allow Charlie Hebdo to keep on carrying on. Okay, like just as a reminder, everyone. So then that guy died during the COVID pandemic. We don't know why. His death was very mysterious. And then his son took over. So then his son is the one who's on trial now. And his son has been in jail by the Pakistani government because they're like so freaking afraid of this group. Remember when there were TLP supporters marching on the Capitol to free this guy from jail, and the government literally had to dig trenches in the highways to stop them from marching on the Capitol? Like, guys, I'm not making this stuff up. We can all look this up. So that's who that guy is. And they have explicitly called for the murder of Geert Wilders. And you know, he is in court now asking for them to be punished. And will they actually be punished? No, like I said, they're not in the country. That being said, I do think there is an importance and utility in still going through this process because it will show that the government is taking a strong stance towards the protection of its citizens and its members of government. You know, when Geert Wilders has said things that are against people on the basis of ethnicity, like I think he went to court and was found guilty for essentially hate speech against Moroccans or something. Um he was held accountable for that. Um However, his criticism on the basis of religion should be, I mean, I actually don't think hate speech should exist, but that's a different matter. Um, on the basis of religion is thoroughly protected. Regardless of if you think he's a far right jingoistic bigot, there is still a sincere interest in protecting his free expression. And that is both in terms of the legalistic sense, in terms of the government shouldn't come after him for it, but also in the sense of like he should be allowed to live with liberty and freedom of movement whether or not you like this man. I will defend his right to those things. And in the trial, what I thought was really poignant, he was talking about how he has been living under police protection since he was in his 40s. And now he's in his 60s. So he was basically saying that he's been serving like the consequences for the threats of these people for 20 years. Um and so Armin, what do you think about this whole process? Do you think it's worthwhile if these people aren't even in the country? They're not going to be held accountable because the Pakistani government is no way going to participate in doing anything with the Dutch government to hold them to any sentence. The sentence hasn't come out yet. They're due to be sentenced in a few days, I believe. Um, so do you think this is even a useful process to go through?
Wait, are these clerics at all? Like I know they're not in Netherlands, but are they do they have any like are they residents or citizens of Netherlands, or like do they have any ties to Netherlands, or is
In
this
terms,
just a
what do you
symbolic?
mean ties to the Netherlands? Like networks in there or something? Like I don't know,
No,
but
like are they citizens or
no,
residents?
no.
No. So the court has no jurisdiction over that to be able to. This is just a symbolic thing.
Yeah, they're being tried in absence. Like in France, when some of the Charlie Hebdo attackers were going to trial, they were tried in absentia. They were tried they were tried despite their absence.
So what does this
Normally
do
for trials you have
exactly?
to be
Like
present.
you basically charge spending court time and resources on charging people that you can't do anything about. Is what is it? What does it do? Like what is the utility of this?
Well, people would say that the utility of this is to actually show a strong position in opposition to these people. Like even if these people
Hmm.
are um outside of the nation, it goes a long ways to demonstrating the stance and position of the government and how they do not tolerate this kind of activity both internationally
Hmm.
and domestically.
I mean, it's nice to see that the same government that considers this guy to be racist enough to, I don't know, like they're like, okay, yeah, he's racist, but he's our racist, and you don't get to threaten him.
No,
Because
but like
this
that's
is
a good
just,
thing though.
I know it is, it is. I mean, I was looking. I mean, I like his anti-Islam stance, but I was looking whether or not he actually said things about, because people in the live chat mentioned that this guy is actually said some genuinely racist things, and I went to. They said that he said he called Moroccans scums, and I went to, because I mean, if he wants to speak against Islam, I mean, we love that and we support that. But if he called Moroccans scums, that is not anti-Islam. That is anti as
No, that is
an
racist,
entire, that is
obviously.
racist. And I went to check, and yeah, apparently he did say that. It says Geert Wilders uh, did refer to Moroccans as scum during a campaign speech. This occurred in 2017 when he launched his election campaign. Okay, election campaign in a place that I cannot pronounce. Wilders stated the Moroccans, okay, I can't say this. YouTube might. The scum in Holland. I want to clarify that not all Moroccans are scum, but there is a considerable amount of Moroccan scum in Holland that makes our streets unsafe, primarily young people. His comments were widely criticized and sparked controversy, particularly among Muslim groups in Netherlands, who found his remarks reprehensible. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, just because we like his anti-Islamic stance, we're not going to defend this. Like I know some people do that, because if we endorse this guy 100%, we do better as a channel. You know, people don't, most audiences don't like it that you basically go a little bit in one direction. You have to either go commit 100% in one direction and
Mhm.
or 100% the other direction. If you come out and say, "Oh, we like Wilder's anti-Islamic stance," and you attract a lot of people that are his supporters, and then you look at, okay, he said something racist. We do not like that. That's racist. We are against that. Then you're gonna lose a whole bunch of people. People want to. People want absolute black and white positions. They're like, no, we like this guy. If we like this guy, you have to commit to supporting him 100%. I'm like, okay, well, we can't. Like the guy is saying, this is racist. This is a racist thing to say, so we do not endorse that. And this is the perfect recipe for your YouTube channel not to grow, by having by not by having actually not black by not having black and white positions. This is why, guys, if you appreciate us not supporting anti-Islamic positions, but also criticizing people for their racist narratives, if you appreciate that, please like this channel and support this channel, because this is why this channel doesn't grow. But go on, Susanna.
Well, I mean, it's not it's really simple. You can defend someone's rights without defending everything they have done or said. It's really not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. We defend the rights of Muslims without defending their religion. Like, many people can't seem to do that. They have to defend Islam to defend the rights of Muslims. Like, they can't seem to just be like, no, we respect your rights, not your ideas. It's, I don't know. To me, it's really not that difficult. Like, there's tons of things that he's done. He used to be a proponent of essentially banning Islam from the Netherlands. I think he wanted to ban the Quran. I think he wanted to literally like ban Islam from the Netherlands. Like, we would never support that. Like, that's anti-liberal. We would never do that. My understanding is that he's actually changed his tune on that.
He did. He did.
So, hashtag growth. You'll love to see it. um, Personally, I don't think that the idea of hate speech should be a thing. Like, we don't have
I
hate
mean,
speech laws
it
here.
shouldn't be law. It shouldn't be law. You could
Yeah.
categorize certain speech as hate speech. That's fine. But you shouldn't be banning it. I'm
Yeah.
okay with the categorization of hate speech. I'm okay with saying like this speech is hate speech. Okay, fine, it's hate speech. Don't ban it. Don't make it the law.
Okay, I should clarify. I don't think that it should be a crime.
Yes.
So the idea of even being tried for something construed as racist is like something that I would oppose. That doesn't mean that I approve of amplifying racist sentiment. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that hard. But one thing that or this is just so funny. I'm sorry. I love laughing at the TLP because it's just like the jokes write themselves. Saad Hussein Rizvi, who's being held in absentia in this trial, had a statement about this. He has denounced the Dutch case, saying instead of trying him and the other cleric, the court should have sentenced Wilders. They're like, you want to put charges against me? No, you. And he said, TLP puts this question to the Dutch court, whether it was not Geert Wilders who should have been punished for insulting Islam's Prophet Muhammad. It is not freedom of expression. This is called Islamophobia, which is being done with a plan. Okay. How in oh my god. Why in the world would a man who has had to have his freedom restricted because he has to be forced to live under police protection for 2 decades ever have a negative thing to say about the ideology that's causing him to live under police protection for 2 decades? They're like, this is all Islamophobia. It's being done with a plan. Like, it's this kind of stuff that drives me
Yeah.
crazy. It's like the lack of self-awareness. Like, why it's this, I don't know, it's like this obliviousness that's weaponized, or they're playing dumb. I don't know, because it's like, why would you ever think something negative about this religion when only the members of this religion have been threatening your life for 1/3 of your existence on this planet? Like, I don't know, that kind of thing just seems so ironic to me and stupid. Like, what a stupid thing to say. I don't know, that always gets me.
Yeah. But by the way, before I will get to the super chats, I just wanted to highlight this one by Jess Mandy. she's saying you harvest what you sow. Not sorry at all, and I'm a Dutch. So I think she's anti Geert Wilders, and she thinks that he deserved this. Again, even if what he's saying is wrong, this is not good. I'm glad that Netherlands, even if they're against his position and are against his views, it's a country of law and order, and it's a country that it comes and defends its citizens, even the people who they consider to have views that they don't like. This is what being a liberal country means, right? Like, even if you think he's a bigot, even if all of his positions are wrong. I mean, I like a lot of, honestly, yeah, when he called Moroccan scum, I don't like that at all. But I really do like his anti-Islam positions, right? But let's say all of his positions are wrong, all of them. Yeah, he's our freaking citizens. You don't get to come and threaten him. We will protect our citizens. Your If you have speech that is wrong, then what you deserve is to be challenged by speech that is correct, not to be threatened, not for your security to be threatened. I mean, that is, yeah, part of being liberal is to defend law and order and defend the safety of all your citizens, including the ones with views that you don't like. And some
Here's the
people
thing.
were
Let me put it in
defending. Yeah,
perspective
go
here.
on.
Wait, sorry. Did I
Yeah.
interrupt you?
No, no, no. Go ahead. Yeah. Thank you for.
Okay, it's
Saying.
wait, where's that comment? I Here's the thing. When we have freedom of speech and someone says something controversial or perhaps hateful and bigoted, I am not against there being social consequence. There is an issue of their freedom of speech is about interference and consequence from the government interference. I'm not above people saying, "Oh, if you start spouting off some Nazi shit, that people are going to look at you twice and look at you funny." I wouldn't be against that.
Mhm.
That's natural. That's a natural consequence. If you say something in criticism of someone else's religion, like Arm and I do on a daily basis, it is a natural consequence that someone might see some of the statements that I have made and make judgments about me and have a certain opinion of me. I take accountability for that. I knew what that consequence was going to be. I take accountability for that. I'm not trying to skirt that consequence and skirt accountability. But here's the thing, that doesn't make it okay for people to threaten you and wish terrorism upon your entire nation because you have had criticisms or even blanket negative statements about your religion. There's a huge difference because what I don't think people understand about how Islamists work is that there is not enough niceties in the world to spare you this fate. What I mean is that you can try to do everything you want to appease someone with this mindset. But if you have the criticism, I think you're going to be next on the chopping block, no matter how couched and nice and polite your criticism is. They don't tolerate it. And they enforce their intolerance with threats and violence. And that is unacceptable. So if you're saying, basically he's reaping what he sows, in some contexts, I'd be like, okay, if it was merely a consequence of social
Social.
sanction, if it was just merely a consequence of social sanction, I would not have I have a disagreement with you. You have the freedom of say things, you don't have the freedom from consequence, right? But when people are threatening you with death, like that is not tolerable. And then when you say you reap what you sow, you're essentially victim blaming. This is the exact same mentality that is used to put alleged blasphemers like Mubarak Bala in Nigeria behind bars. Because they say you have criticisms of this group or this ideology, essentially that Muslims are going to get violent Therefore, you
Right.
poked the bear, it's your fault. Instead of saying, why don't we condemn the people that are doing the actual crime, which is the violence, incitement to violence, and
All right,
threats against civilians.
I do want to get to her other comments. So basically, what you're saying is social consequences are okay, legal and violent consequences are not okay. In fact, social consequences are okay because social consequences are also the freedom of speech of other people, right? So if you say something and somebody there's social consequences to what you said, if you're like, well, there shouldn't be social consequences to what I said because I have the freedom of speech to say what I want. Well, if you limit other people's responses, then you are limiting their freedom of expression. So social consequences should be allowed, right?
I'll put it
However, I do.
simply. I'll put it very simply. It drives me crazy when people are like, "How? Why do you talk about this? Why do people talk about this? They know that Muslims are violent. Like you're getting what you asked for." Instead of being like, "Why do we not find it intolerable that they're violent? And if they're violent, hold them accountable." That's what drives
Right,
me crazy.
right, yes. So let me actually get to her other points, which I wanted to highlight because they're all wrong. Just Mandy is saying in the UK, you have the freedom of speech, not the freedom of insult to insult. Let me just be very
Lame.
clear. Hold on. When you don't if you don't have the freedom to insult, then you do not have the freedom of speech. That that is if you think that freedom of speech does not include freedom to insult, then I'm sorry, you have no clue what you're talking about. You do not understand freedom of speech. You do not understand what freedom of speech even means. So that is, and also just Mandy is saying, my point being, we got Muslim citizens. How, as a politician, you protect them when you insult their religion? I'm sorry. This you are just Mandy. You are insulting Muslims yourself. If you think protecting Muslims requires the government to protect their feelings, when we are talking about protecting citizens, including Muslim citizens, we're talking about protecting them from violence and from discrimination. If you think Muslim citizens require their fees to be protected, then that you are insulting Muslims. You're generalizing at them as children, as a bunch of crybabies that they require the government for people to step in and stop people from saying things that they don't want to hear. That you are actually insulting Muslims. I am treating Muslims like adults that should grow that should have thick skins that could tolerate people insulting their views. You are treating them like little crybabies. So there's that. And also, some people were saying that it was trying to defend Wilders' position, saying the Moroccan scum comment. And Kenny was saying, so if I said some white people are scum, that would be racist. Yeah, if you mention them being white, then I would suspect you're being racist to white race people. If specifically,
Hashtag not
let's say
all.
that,
Sorry.
yeah, even if you say not all, the fact that you're identifying their ethnicities while calling them scum, I will say you are being racist because he said this is what he said, saying the Moroccan scum in Holland. I want to clarify that not all Moroccans are scum, but there is considerable amount of Moroccan scum in Holland. Okay, so let's like that's what he said. Let me change that to white people, and I will call that racist. Let's say, let me change it. So the white scum in the United States, I want to clarify, not all white people are scum, but there's a considerable amount of white scum in the United States. Yeah, that would be racist against white people. The fact that you are identifying, highlighting the group that either a nationality or ethnicity. If you identify it like that, say, hey, there's a huge group of white scum in United States that are problematic. Again, not all of them, but yeah, the fact that you are identifying their ethnicity shows that you're basically suggesting an association with the ethnicity and them being scum. And you're saying there are exceptions. But you're saying those are basically saying it like that suggests that you're suggesting that the exceptions are rare. So that would be, I would consider that to be racist against white people if you talk like that, right? Other people were
I
trying to say the
identify
same
people
thing.
as scum on the basis of their antisocial behavior, their criminal behavior, not their entire group. You know, if you think that there's a group that might have a high ethnic prevalence that is doing something that's criminal and negative, just identify it off of the basis of criminal negative behavior.
Yeah, and also it's okay to suggest to look at statistics and see that there's certain behavior is more prevalent within a certain community. But then if you put that community next to the insult, it suggests that you're not identifying just the correlation, but the causation. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I, for example, notice that certain, there people who have mustache are committing more crimes in society, right? And this is just happens to be correlation, but not causation. If I then go out and say this mustache uh, growing scum, then the insult suggests that there is a causation here, right? Not just a correlation. As if I say there's white scum in the United States, hashtag not all, then I'm not, even if that is true, that there's a correlation that certain activity is higher within white people in the United States, then if I just put the insult right next to that ethnicity, I am, to my audience, I'm suggesting that their whiteness, them being white, is causing them, not just the correlation, but it's actually the cause. And again, if I do that with Muslims and Islam, then the causation is justified. I could show you the causation between having Islamic belief and certain type of activity. I could not that it would justify you generally insulting an entire group of people, but at least I could show you the causation. But when it comes to being white or Moroccan or being black, even if there's a correlation, the causation is not there. There is an external factor that is causing the causation. Like, for example, in the United States, I could show you a correlation between being black and crime rates. That is fact. Crime is higher among black people in the United States. But is it because they're black? Is it the deep, is there something in their DNA that is causing that? No, there is another external factor that is causing higher crime rates among black population in the United States. So if I then put say black and then an insult, and then say, and after that say that they're causing doing more crimes, I mean, technically I would be correct, right? Technically I would be correct if I clarify that I'm not talking about all black people. Imagine if I said that. If I said black, again, I'm not going to say this because you two might think I'm saying
I
that,
know you're
and then I
making me
said
nervous.
scum. If I say black and then use an insult in United States are committing more crimes, again, I'm not talking, and then I say I'm not talking about all black people, you would you would be correct to assume that I'm racist against black people if I said that. You would be correct, even though that is true. Even though it's true that black people are doing more crimes in the United States compared to the rest of the population. That is true, but that statement suggests something beyond just pointing at statistical figures. It's doing something more. It's making you feel as an audience that blackness is something to be racist against. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you, at least, Susanna?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Right. Okay. I don't know who disagrees with me right now in the live chat, because a lot of people want to defend. Um,
Gave a super chat and is saying, "I see your point. The ethnicity part is irrelevant, so bringing it up is racist. Thank you for clarifying that." Like, it's also just not politically tactful. It's not politically tactful. it's it's not for your own political expediency. It's a dumb thing to say, even if you look at it purely from that standpoint. Um, so let's go to some of the comments we highlighted. Um, uh, Doron Regev gave a super sticker, $5 super sticker with no comment. Thank you, Doron.
Thank
Um,
you.
Carl Schler is pissed. He's saying your liberalism is weak against Islam.
Oh yeah, I wanted to highlight this because I wanted to show Carl. You are so wrong. I don't know. Are you being sarcastic here, or you do really mean this? You guys have no idea. I mean, if people believe that, what liberalism has overcome. Islamism is such a pathetically Islam as a whole is such a pathetically weak enemy of liberalism. Is if you go look at just the past 100 years, the enemies of liberalism be historically have been so much stronger. I know you guys looking at the news, you're looking at the UK, you're looking at Germany, and you're looking at France, and you think like Europe has fallen. And no, Europe has not. This is a setback. This is a challenge. I'm not going to deny that, but it's nothing compared to the previous enemies of liberalism. Liberalism had Nazi Germany, imperialist Japan, and communist the Soviet Union. May I remind you that it hasn't been 100 years since the heart of Europe was being controlled by totalitarian governments. This is like this was within my freaking lifetime, that all the way up to Germany, Europe was being controlled by communism. Between 1933 to 1953, most of the planet was being controlled by some totalitarian government, either imperialist Japan or communist Soviet Union or Nazi Germany or Italy or Mussolini in Italy. This and that enemy, we lived in a point within my lifetime, the possibility of the main powers in the world using nuclear weapons to kill hundreds of millions of people was on the table as an option that people were taking seriously. And liberalism has now overcome all of that, and almost every single nation has a structure that is trying to copy the model set by John Locke and Montesquieu and John Stuart Mill and others as the way to do politics and culture. The whole planet is being run by the standards in trade set by liberalism. And you think Islamism can overcome that? Islamism doesn't have a chance. Around the planet, people are consuming the culture, the music, the food, the politics, the movies, the clothes, the standards that is coming out of this liberal model. So people are swimming in they're like the fish that is swimming in waters that is not even capable of understanding that it exists because it's just surrounded by it so much. Islamism, compared to the challenges that liberalism had before, Islamism is pathetically weak in comparison. Islam as a whole, and liberalism will overcome Islam as well. I just want, I don't know, maybe we should be talking more about this because I think like liberalism, as successful as it is, it doesn't get enough people supporting it. Like there are not enough people mentioning or promoting it as it just. It's amazing that it's so successful even without people defending it as much as they should be because it just works. It survives because it works. Anyways, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think it's like take it for granted, and not realized that a lot of the successes we have are due to this. I love this comment from Shuvo saying freedom of speech allows freedom to insult. Suck it up. um, and also a politician's job is not to protect religious sentiment. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, we got a lot more super chats, so let's go through these. GJ is saying hi from the Netherlands. Of course, I back Wilders' anti-Islam stance, but I hate his half-hearted distinction between hating. I hate his half-hearted distinction between hating Islam versus hating Muslims or Moroccans, in inciting hatred and discrimination equals illegal here. I can't tell
Yeah.
if you
So
think it's a
so
good thing or a
yeah.
bad thing that he tries to make a distinction. I'm confused.
No, he's hating that is half-hearted.
Mm,
That's what he's saying. He says
okay.
like the distinction should be very clear, that hating Islam and hating Muslims or Moroccans should be, the distinction should be more, shouldn't be as half-hearted. That's what he means, and I agree with GJ on that. All right, I don't agree that it should be illegal. I mean, I do agree that we should be calling it out. But even if it's wrong, it should. I do not agree with Netherlands making it illegal. Yeah.
GJ is saying, by the way, during Wilders' political career, the Netherlands abolished laws against blasphemy and higher punishments for insulting royalty, foreign and domestic. Cool. Now, Netherlands law can only punish overtly harsh criticisms. I'm not exactly sure what the
But
distinction means, but I'd be interested to learn more.
mhm.
Um, Gasian American gave a super chat. Thank you, Gasian, saying school pew-pews. What he means is, can I say this on YouTube? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Mass
Shooting.
shootings at schools. And the presidential assassinations are committed by cisgender white men. Some, I assume, are good people.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, see, he's technically, Asian American is technically correct. But if you say that, it seems like you're suggesting that it's wrong to be cisgendered white or man. This is an anti cisgender white man position. Even though he's technically correct, I would consider this to be a bigoted, sexist thing to say, even if it's technically correct, because it's suggesting something beyond what it's saying.
Hans is just saying liberalism is the religion of the gays. If so, I
I
love it. Can I
love
have more? Can I have more, please? Um,
I love how people who are anti-liberalism out themselves as homophobic. This is good. But
yeah.
yeah, go on.
Mugiwara is saying that liberalism beat Islam for the last 100 years nonstop.
Yeah.
It
Wait,
kind of
somebody is
caused
spamming.
severe emotional damage within the Ummah when they lost their caliphate that they still haven't gotten over. Emotional damage. Mars, oh hi my friend, is saying, do you think part of the problem is because it's easy to conflate culture with race? I think when people hear the former, their mind always goes to the latter and a lot of nuance is thrown out. Simply put, yes. I think people are not used to making a differentiation. Um, and more people need to be taught that it's actually very, very easy to make a differentiation. Which is why we talk about it all the time on this channel. Um, GJ gave another super chat. Thank you. Saying, on a side note, have you heard about Luis Rossmann, his track record of spanking the YouTube gods on their own platform and often taunting YouTube to take him on legally? He spoke in US Congress. No, I've never heard of this person, but that sounds interesting. Um, Bose Einstein gave a super chat. Thank you. Saying Abrahamic religions from the Hammurabi Code are evil.
Yeah, so he's talking about the fact that the Old Testament, I mean, all three Abrahamic religions come from, you Judaism, and the laws were copied from the Hammurabi. But the Hammurabi Code was actually progress for its time. So I don't know if you want to blame the Hammurabi Code for it. But again, it wasn't all copied from the Hammurabi Code. There were just some parts of it was copied from the Hammurabi Code.
You know, one thing that's difficult is sometimes I don't know if people in the live chat are being deliberately obtuse or just stupid.
Hey,
When they say things to like rebut or question you that you already explicitly addressed, I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. um Gajan is saying, are you saying liberalism defeated colonial Britain and colonial France?
I don't understand what you are saying. Liberal principle are against colonialism, if that's what you're meaning, and they eventually, because of liberal values, colonialism ended in Britain and in France. If that's what you mean, then yes. One very important part of liberal values is nationalism, and nationalism requires every nation to be every group of people to be able to have their own nation and a state to reflect that nation, which is give them the right to self determination. And colonialism basically goes against that principle. So basically, colonialism, actual colonialism, not what woke people are referring to today as colonialism. Um, Liberalism managed to defeat that ideology, basically defending nationalism. Nationalism is basically anti-colonial. That the idea of nationalism. So, and liberalism supports nationalism.
I feel like people forget the extent to which these empires like willfully decided to decolonize in the 20th century. Like when Queen
Yes.
Elizabeth died, she got so much hate. And I'm like, do you guys not realize that she could be argued to be one of like the biggest decolonialists in the world? Like that was under her reign. Anyways, Carl is
Wait, hold on,
saying,
hold on. No, no, wait a second. This is how people do not understand liberalism. Like the
oh,
people are so foreign to because I, somebody is surprised saying liberalism supports nationalism. What the fuck? Yes, Sohaib. Liberalism invented nationalism. You guys understanding of what liberal principles are is so wrong. I think liberalism I people think liberalism is basically woke ideology. Yet the very concept of a nation state and defending a concept of nation state has been invented by liberal principles. If you are a nationalist, you're supporting liberalism. You guys, I think I should do a 101 on what liberalism even is, because people think that they don't understand it. People don't
that'd be
understand it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
By the way, I made a I sent you a song because I was so pissed on how people uh, make fun of liberal principles and because without even understanding what they actually represent. I made an AI song, and you thought it was good with it, right? Should I was asking Susie whether or not I should, because I think there's not enough promotion of these ideas. I was thinking of releasing it on our channel because it's not copyrighted because we made it ourselves. Should I post that to see, guys, in the live chat? Tell me, should I? It ended up pretty. Susie, did it end up good? I think it was good. I don't know. I'm not very good at judging songs. Okay, guys, Susanna is confirming that it was good. Should I post that song? It's a 3-minute song. Let me know if you want me to post it on our channel on the Atheist Room. Oh, John
you
is
should
saying
show it
yes.
during one of the like individual streams that you do.
I want to release it without explanation and see how people what people think about it, because I think like these ideas might be boring to a lot of people, but if we make some epic music and release it like that, then there might be some more willingness to for people to engage with these ideas. I don't know. Yes, so let's see. I'm gonna release it
Oops.
and see how it goes.
Okay, so let's go to the next super chats. Carl is saying your hikmah gave me new hope. Alhamdulillah, brother. Thank you for the
That's good.
super chat, Carl. And then Dan is commenting on Carl, saying Carl Schler needs to grab a cold pint of camel piss and chill. Cheers, Ahi. Okay, man. Well, thank you for the super chat. To be aggressive towards someone else in the chat, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yes.
Mary gave a super sticker. Thank you, Mary. GJ gave a super chat saying, Susanna, I wrote overly, not overtly harsh criticism. Okay, my apologies. I'm a little dyslexic
Susanna did that
sometimes.
on purpose. No. Susanna did that on purpose, so that you would use another super chat to correct that. That's what she did. So thank you
Oh,
for the
and
extra
Dan is
super chat.
clarifying that he's poking fun at Carl because they're friends. Okay.
Okay.
I was like, shit, okay, man. uh, Sergeant Broombeard gave a super chat saying peace after Cold War in World War II. Peace after Cold War and World War II spoiled us.
Yeah,
I
people.
think, yeah.
I understand. I think people don't remember. I mean, we do deserve to be spoiled with peace, to be honest. Like, so I'm not against that, right? But I think what
Of
you're
course.
referring to is the fact that people don't understand how good we have it. The liberal principles that are now basically ruling the whole world have gotten us to a position where we're enjoying so much more peace and stability and a better way of life, and people do not understand it because they're used to it. They don't remember how bad things were just a couple of years ago, less
You know,
than
it
50
reminds
years
me,
ago.
I had the misfortune of watching some Tim Pool content recently, and he and he was going on some unhinged, stupid Ukraine rant and how he's anti-war and all this bullshit. And but it's only like anti-war when people are defending themselves, right? Funny how that works. And anyways, he was talking about how, oh, the peace that we've had, in the past several decades, um, we were very lucky. And I'm like, oh my God, you idiot. Like, this is not luck. This did not happen by mistake. This happened because of the success and efficacy of specific values, tactics, and strategies. It does not happen by luck. It doesn't happen by mistake. That pissed me off
Mm.
so much. I was like, oh my God, oh no. But Tim Pool is an enemy of this nation, anyways. So, an enemy of the American people.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as that, because is would you say that? I mean, he thinks that he's, because we don't know people's intentions. He might think. I mean, his ideas are insane and wrong, but
Based
he
on the
might think that
unsealed
he's
the unsealed indictment from the DOJ, he was deceived. I do believe that he
yeah, he
was
was
deceived.
deceived. So he wasn't on purpose trying to be anti. We don't. I don't think he was trying to be anti-American. I think he
Okay,
was
but
deceived.
if you're so much of an idiot that your idiocy is that useful to the Russian state, and then you're not being like, I need some more reflection. I need some more accountability. I have no sympathy for this man. I think that he knew more than is in the indictment. So I'm going to continue to call him and Lauren Chen an enemy of the American people because that's how I feel in
Learn,
my heart.
No, Lauren Chen is the enemy of United States because she knew what she was doing.
I
Tim
hope that bitch
Pool,
gets kicked
we
out
don't
of
know.
Canada and never allowed past our border again. You want to talk about the real bad immigrants? It's the Canadians, okay? These
Hey
Canadians.
now,
I'm starting a
watch
beef right now with you, Armin. I hope you never set
watch
foot
it.
down south, okay? You better stay up north
Watch
across that
it.
border, bro.
Hold on. Hey now, don't get me started. Okay, what the hell? This is some
I'm kidding.
anti-Canadian
I'm
hate.
kidding. I'm
No.
starting a beef with Canadians, and I'm starting here today. The real terrorists are up north, and we thought you were so polite and friendly, and that's how you let down our defenses, bro. But I see right through you right now. I know y'all's history with war crimes, man.
I'm not
You're
gonna
on watch, man.
I'm not gonna tolerate this. I'm not gonna tolerate this level of hatred towards Canadian. You're gonna make me stop saying sorry.
I'm gonna stop saying sorry.
That's a threat. That's the
Yeah.
most Canadian threat. We're gonna stop saying sorry.
Or hey
Anyways,
there, bud. You're like, oh shit.
we're gonna yeah, dude. Like we're gonna send our geese after you. You
Yeah.
can't.
Okay. You know what? Those geese. I'll play nice real fast.
You
Anyways,
can't.
if people are new here, I'm terrorized by Canadian geese, and I'm convinced that the real terrorists are Canadian geese. I swear to God, man, I hate those motherfuckers. Anyways, Kenny gifted
Oh wow!
50 Atheist Republic memberships to people watching right now. That is so generous. And he's saying that he gave
Thank
all these gifts as a gift for his own birthday. Thank you,
Wow!
Kenny. That is so
50. That's
generous.
insane,
And this is
guys.
extremely generous because Kenny is already one of the best volunteers that we have here at Atheist Republic. I work with him on stuff all the time. Amazing guy. That is so generous, Kenny.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
if you just became a member, please make sure that I'm basically doing now one member only stream a week. So go check out on the channel. You can see, if you go on the homepage of the channel, you can see the member only contents close to the top. So go because I think you're going to be a member now for a month. So make sure you go watch those member only streams, and there's going to be a lot more member only streams coming pretty soon. So take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kenny.
Okay, John Bundock gave super chat saying European old-timey blasphemy laws are odd. Don't be too mean. I'm a little bit confused. I think you mean
I think
the spirit of the law is like, don't be too mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
GJ
Oh shit.
gave a super chat saying in 1940 the UK empire still held 24% of the world's population, but Roosevelt had Churchill over a barrel. He gave the Soviet Union so much lend-lease help that the USSR was a superpower in 1945 instead. I don't really have any commentary on this. Do you, Marvin?
No. Interesting. Thank you for the super chat.
But thank you for the super chat. Nike, okay, is saying, Armin, I don't want you to respond to this. Just saying, Armin, you said freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. Does that justify Muslims reacting violently to blasphemers? Nike, the short answer is no. And I would encourage you to rewatch this segment because we talk through this. We explain why the answer is no in this segment. So if you would like a full answer, we did give a full answer. Please watch the segment again. Thank you very much. Bull, but
I can't respond to that. Okay.
I would genuinely encourage you to just rewatch this because we actually tell you. And the answer is no. Bull gave a super chat saying time to add Canada to the union.
Hey, now be careful. Last time you guys tried that, we burned the White House. What are you talking?
That did happen. That's
the only time that a foreign army managed to make it all the way to the White House and burn it down is when the Canadians came in and attacked the United States in retaliation. Yes,
that was a full blown. That was a fuck around and find out moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie.
So, don't try it again.
You ain't lying.
And people try to make fun of Canadians of being like nice and polite and weak, and think like, oh yeah, the time they burned down the White House, that was a long time ago. Until they witness what Canadians are capable of in World War II, and they realize like,
in World War
these
One.
guys are, and World War One, yes, actually they were like, yeah, these guys are actually kind of crazy. Like we should not fuck around with Canadians. They're actually not as chill as you think.
The French and British troops were like, these Canadians need to chill. Like, I don't know why they're so intense because technically this is our land territory. These guys got shipped in across the Atlantic, and sometimes they're going 10 times harder. Like, why are they so scary?
Yes. Basically, the Canadian were given the Geneva Convention, and they were told like these are not the things that you're not supposed to do during war. And the Canadians thought that this is a to-do list that they have to make sure that they get. It's a checklist that they have to do. That they have to make sure that they do all of them before the war is over. That's how the Canadians treated that.
Oh
Anyways,
my god.
yeah. Anyways, okay.
We
Are we
just got
done
another
with the
super
super?
chat
Oh
from
no.
GJ saying the UK and Netherlands tried to restore pre-World War II law and order in their pre-war colonies. They don't deserve any credit for decolonizing until about 20 years later. Suriname's freedom was Netherlands-led left government initiative. No, like don't get me wrong. Some of the things that these colonial powers, imperialist powers did to try to hold on to their colonies is horrific and barbaric. Like Portugal is fucking terrifying. What Portugal did alone puts the fear of God in me. Like I'm not trying to gloss over that history at all. Um
Yes. However, in their defense, I mean, we don't like what they did relative to what we have right now, which is nation states within the framework of liberal values. In relative to that, they were horrible. But relative to other empires that came before them, they were actually pretty good. The British Empire was a lot better to its colonies than, I don't know, the Japanese Empire, the Mongolian Empire, the Arab Empire, almost all the other empires. They were a lot better to their colonies, and they actually caused a lot more progress and development and technology and infrastructure and science. They brought all of that to these nations as well. Again, I'm not
I
dismissing
don't
the bad things that they did, but I just want to say, relatively to the empires before them, they were a lot better.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's worth doing comparative victimology right now. We can just say that it's bad. Like it's okay to say that it's bad.
Yeah. 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 But it's okay to say that they were good as well. Like, I'm just acknowledging the good, not just the bad. So if
Okay.
you want to say it's bad, I agree that the bad part, but I just don't want to throw away all the good that they did as well. Is that a masculine Voltaire in the bio of Ash?
Ash gave a super chat saying, "Man, working with some of the special forces here in Canada, being a nationalized citizen, the Canadian Army is very
Naturalized.
tough. Real Vikings. The world's strongest
Yes.
man is Canadian, and he's an absolute sweetheart."
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.